What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic hump day. It's Wednesday, a little bit after 8 o'clock, enjoying myself a little bit of the Sixers. Got a 14-point lead at the half right now. Going with the throwback jerseys. Court, loving it, loving it, loving it. So hopefully you're all having yourselves a great night, great week so far. Getting ready for this damn game, though. I'm pumped up. The Chargers, we know that this team is still very young. We know we still have a lot of holes, a lot of growth to be had in a lot of places. So this week, we've got ourselves a tough opponent. And, I can't wait to see what growth we found this week. I don't want to see any more regression. I want to see progression each week. And even if you lose, I want to see you put up a damn fight. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight, is talking about how they can put that fight up and who they're fighting against. So we're going to be going behind enemy lines with the Los Angeles Chargers. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into their standings, their stats, their roster, all of that. But we'll also talk about, first and foremost, we'll get into the injury report for both teams. Some obviously roster moves made today. So we'll talk about that too for both teams. So let's get into it. But I thank you for taking the time tonight. If you have any questions, any comments you want to leave, please feel free to do so. It doesn't have to be about the Chargers. It could be about whatever is on your mind. Please feel free to do so. So let's get into it. We'll start with the Eagles first. Eric Wilson was waived today. You guys know I've been keeping you up to date for weeks. His snaps have dropped every single week. Watch Davian Taylor get healthy, take those snaps away. Talked about TJ Edwards, both those guys seeing an increase in snaps, whereas Singleton and Wilson seeing a decrease, but Wilson was seeing the least amount of snaps out of all of the guys that were playing. So it definitely seemed like he could be on the way out. He is out. So he was waived today. We'll see if anybody claims him, but no more Eric Wilson. It's time for the young guys, Davian Taylor, Sean Bradley on special teams. Talked about TJ Edwards, maybe Jacoby Stevens can get off the practice squad. I know we still have like 6 linebackers, so it'll be all right. But yeah, I'm Jannard Avery, Patrick Johnson, though. They aren't really linebackers. They're kind of playing that outside linebacker role in the 3-4. So we really only have 4 inside linebackers right now. We'll get more into that when we talk about the roster comparison, though. But tonight we're going to focus a little more on the Chargers. But right here is the injury report for today. Now, calm it down in case anyone's getting ready to freak out. This is a big list, but they're usually big around Tuesday, Wednesday. A lot of guys limited, taking things easy. We don't want anyone to get injured. So only 4 guys did not practice, 2 receivers, 2 defensive linemen. So Arcega-Whiteside did not practice. Neither did Jalen Reagor. So maybe we see a John Hightower, Keyshawn Johnson. I don't know. Maybe somebody comes off the practice squad for this game. We shall see. I know a lot of people getting excited here about Odell Beckham possibly being gone for the Browns. I don't know. Maybe, and I've heard Deshaun Jackson. There's so many things people talk about. I'm not against bringing in a veteran, but I want to see these young guys get the snaps that they need and to keep progressing. So I guess you can't do that with Reagor hurt, though. So that's unfortunate. Arcega-Whiteside, we know what he brings to the table, pretty much blocking, hasn't done anything else. Now, the other guys, we'll hope that Bradley's all right, but he really doesn't play any defense, helps out on special teams. But Fletch, Hargrave, both, they went through this last week, and they were good to go for the game. So we'll hope the same goes there. Driscoll dealing with the thumb injury. He was limited. Irby stepped in nice this past game, so we'll hope he's ready, though. And then some rest for Lane and Jason Kelsey. We know that these guys, this has been happening all season. Mailata dealing with an elbow issue. He was limited. Hopefully he'll be good to go. And then McPherson missed the Lions game with a hamstring injury, so we'll hope he's all right, but he was limited today. We have talked about getting these younger corners some more snaps. So Tay Gowan, Zach McPherson, and then we just had Kerry Vincent Jr., so we'll see. Maybe he gets some free safety snaps, some nickel corner snaps. We shall see. The dime cornerback, we shall see. What is going on, my man Tim in the building? Let's go, dude. We're about to get into the Chargers injuries, and then we're going right into it. What's good, man? Not too much, too high up. I'm too high up myself, having a good night, enjoying my time with the lady friend and the little boy, and enjoying them Sixers. Hopefully you're having yourself a good one. But, dude, getting ready for this Chargers game, getting pumped up. We've got somebody headed to the game. Facebook user, if you click that link at the top, I'll be able to see who you are. But that's awesome. Hopefully you have yourself a great time. Represent us all very well, as I know you will. and we are the craziest fans. So I don't have to, have any kind of doubt there. So go out there, let them know they're in our house, and we are going to be whooping that ass. So can't wait for this Sunday, and I bet you can't either. We're getting the visiting team. Do you have plentiful fantasy issues? In this game, I have Herbert, Allen, and Williams. Going to be a weird one. Yeah. Well, you know that our secondary is actually pretty decent. We've shut down some pretty good receivers, but we've also gotten our ass kicked by some receivers. So Debo Samuel, Tyreek Hill. So I wouldn't necessarily shy against Williams. He could definitely beat us deep. We've had some safety, injury issues. Keenan Allen, they're going to throw him the ball 37 times regardless. But I think that this defense stepped it up last week, and it was against the Lions. So you could still, get your ass kicked there. So I think they can definitely pass the ball on us. I wouldn't shy away. But it's a tougher secondary for sure. Justin Herbert, man. If they don't run the ball with Eckler, they'll probably drop it off into the pass game to him. So Herbie, though, give me a second. We'll get into it here, though. You might want to hear this, Tim. So stay tuned. Section 103, some great seats right there. I think I was in 110 or 112 when I was with Gabe Rangel and Chef Justin Massey from the Bro Barn. And that was a pretty good time, man. Probably the closest I've ever been during a game, but that was a fantastic time. Sucked to lose to the Chiefs, but awesome spending some time with those guys, getting to know them. Now, let's get into the Chargers injuries because, Tim, well, your fantasy team needs to know this. You probably already know this, but Justin Herbert dealing with a right hand issue, something going on. Something happened maybe a couple weeks ago they talked about. So he's dealing with something in his right hand there. He was limited today. Looks like he'll be all right, but that's some pretty major news there. So definitely keep your eye on that. Michael Davis, he has been dealing with a hamstring injury. One of their younger corner. Look, he's not exactly one of their top guys, though, so it's not a big deal. Justin Jackson, he's like third on the depth chart now, so not a real big deal there either. But Asante Samuel Jr. dealing with that concussion, that could be major news for them if he is out. So I'm sure they would love to have him. And it's crazy, man. We're sitting here talking about Asante Samuel's kid. Like, damn, dude, am I old or what? But those are some big injuries there with Justin Herbert and Asante Samuel Jr. So we'll see what we do. Do have Hurts as my other QB. Well, they are the worst team against the run. And, he likes to run that ball a lot. So if we don't pound the rock a lot with the running backs, I could see him using his feet. And their secondary isn't the greatest, but they're decent against the pass. So I would still fire Hurts up if I were you over Herbert dealing with a hand injury. But we'll see. You never know, man. I don't want to tell you what to do because it's always the opposite of what I tell someone. So what is going on, my man? Christian in the building. What's up, dude? Don't worry. You didn't miss anything other than the Eagles injury report. A bunch of people resting and stuff like that. Talked about Eric Wilson being waived. I do have some good news, though, actually, about the Eagles. Let's talk about that. Anthony Harris was a full participant today. So some fantastic news for the Eagles there. Have him and McLeod back there as the safeties. That will definitely bode well for us and not for Tim's fantasy team, Justin Herbert. So now the Chargers also got some good news too. So I won't just give the good news to the Eagles fans, but the Chargers fans out there. Kenneth Murray was designated to return. His 21-day practice window was activated today, so he has 21 days to come off that IR. Praying to God it is not this Sunday. I do not want to deal with Kenneth Murray. He is a stud. A lot of people wanted him in the draft. He is not on the Eagles, so don't care. But he is still very damn good. But we got to watch out. If he were to magically be able to go, that would definitely suck. But I'm not really 100% sure. I don't think he would get rushed back right away. But if he's healthy, you never know. So that would suck. Now let's take a look at these guys. It's time to pretty much break it down and get into, we're finally just going to go behind enemy lines with the Los Angeles Chargers. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the Chargers standing in the AFC West division, 4-3, sitting there in second. And I mean, look, guys, I think that this team is pretty good, and they've had some struggles, and Justin Herbert is still a pretty damn young quarterback, but man, they're serious. Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Jalen Guyton, even Jared Cook at tight end. They've got some really good weapons. Defense, they've got Bosa. We talked about Murray being banged up, though, and even Asante Samuel Jr. being banged up. So some major injuries, but they've got themselves a pretty damn good team. So You know, I got you, Tim. Let's take a look at their coaching staff. Brandon Staley doing a good job so far. 4 wins, obviously one more win than us. But Brandon Staley seems like a good guy, a good coach. And Joe Lombardi, we all know what he was doing over there with Drew Brees in New Orleans. He comes over to be the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. They got Ronaldo Hill running the 3-4, and then Darius Swinton the second. Now, these guys, a lot of them first time at their jobs as well, just like with the Eagles. Only one more win than us, but they look a lot they're a lot well off, you know what I mean? A lot better off than we are. So I would say that, these guys, I think a lot of people, it's funny. I think it's because it's the Eagles. We get a lot of slack, but it's like they're young. I think we got to give them a little bit of time for exactly what they are. So we'll see exactly. My man Pharaoh, what is going on, dude? We're about to go behind enemy lines and learn about the Eagles' Week 9 opponent. Appreciate you tuning in, dude. We were just taking a look at the coaches. Now we're going to go through. We're going to take a look at some of their stats so far, where they stand right now so far through the year. So let's look at the offense first. So let's take a gander at their stats. Right now, they're 18th in rushing, 104.4 yards per game, 7th in passing, 12th in total yards with 377.5 yards. And then they are tied for 11th with 24.7 points per game. So a decent offense. Don't look like the craziest numbers that jump off, but Justin Herbert can tear your ass up. We talk about that beautiful trophy I've got for fantasy football, and that's all thanks to Justin Herbert. So that dude came out of nowhere last year. Loved it. And then you look at, they are giving up 2 sacks allowed per game. That's tied for 13th. 0.9 interceptions thrown per game. It's not the greatest, tied for 19th. And then 0.3 fumbles lost. That's pretty good, tied for 6th. And then they're giving up 1.1 turnovers per game, tied for 12th. So average middle of the pack. But like we talk about, new coaching staff, a new team, with some new pieces, not like the Eagles, where we've got a lot of young players, a lot of new teams, but kind of like that, but just a little bit further along. So Brandon Staley definitely walked into a better position there, but I still believe in the Eagles' future. So let's get into this. Let's take a look at this offense. So Justin Herbert, we talked about him. We all know Chase Daniel. He is still somehow finding jobs as if this dude is just making millions being a backup. Love to see it. Good for him. Then Easton Stick, he was let go from the Colts and now finds himself with the Chargers. So got themselves a decent room there with a good veteran to help these young kids. Easton Stick, maybe he can find a job somewhere else one day. But Justin Herbert, a very bright future. This dude is going to be elite for years to come. I really think this kid is special. If you haven't watched a game of his, you're about to. And he's pretty good. So the Eagles are going to have to do all they can to try to shut this dude down, try to make them one-dimensional. We talk about them being 18th in the rush, but they're 7th in the pass. You got to shut that run game down and try to stop their pass game. And, I really think it's possible. It's just, honestly, Justin Herbert, you never know which way it could go, especially for us, with this season. So hopefully Jonathan Gannon comes out with the right game plan, man. How about it? Backup quarterback, how about it? Honestly, I think that, those guys, they obviously have to be pretty good to be in the NFL. So they've definitely put in the work to earn it. But hell yeah, man, that's got to be pretty cool to just watch the games for free right from there. And if you need it, maybe you come in and win a Super Bowl. Oh, now on to the running backs. Austin Eckler. Dude's pretty good. And we talked about it. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He'll hurt you in many ways. They can have him lining up at the slot. Doesn't matter. This dude will be moving around in motion. Keep your eye on him. Davian Taylor, need to see those snaps increase. Need to see you stepping it up, learning how to tackle better. But, working on that coverage, doing things. I know he's still very, very raw. So got to keep working on that. But that's why Eric Wilson's gone. You got to get more reps to the young guys. And hopefully TJ Edwards can shut down this run game. So maybe we'll see a little Roundtree thrown in there, Justin Jackson, maybe a little Josh Kelly if Jackson is not able to play. And then another team with a fullback in Gabe Neighbors. So, look, this is a good run game, but they are 18th in the rush. So not exactly, pounding the rock or anything like that. But that's a lot of the time, situational. So we talk about taking everything with a grain of salt when it comes to numbers. So we'll see, but they could definitely destroy us on the ground game because we all know how we've been doing against the run. So now on to their wide receivers. We talked about this. They've got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Jalen Guyton, Josh Palmer, and then Andre Roberts thrown in there too. So they've got themselves a pretty healthy wide receiver room. If those guys can stay healthy, it's a pretty scary room. So we got to hope that Darius Slay, Steve Nelson, and Devontae Maddox can find their way to shut these guys down with the help of Anthony Harris and Rodney McLeod. We have got to find a way because this is going to be one tough match. And we talk about all the offenses we have played. That's at least, some good learning experience, going against the Chiefs, the Bucks, Cowboys, So I think this is a good receiving core, but it's not like we can't shut them down. So let's just hope for the best here, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we can do. Eckler is always 1 or 2 hits from being injured. Yeah, that sucks, man. I have him again this year. Last year he was hurt. I cannot believe I've snuck into the playoffs, somehow made it to the championship and won. But Eckler and Chubb are both out. I had Wentz. Oh, God, it was a horrible year. I took Michael Thomas with my first pick. You guys all know how that went. So what a crazy year. All like backups I won it with. That was nuts. It really was. Now we're going to move on to the tight end position now. Jared Cook. What, dude, when they picked him up, I knew that was a great pickup for them. That dude is, I have him in fantasy as well, and he is having himself a really good year. Not one of the best in the tight end, but, definitely top 10. So he's doing pretty well. They got Donald Parham there too. So he's taking a little bit away from him. Trey McKitty seen a little uptick in the snaps. So we talked about him during the draft process, but Steven Anderson even. So they've got some pretty good tight ends here. So this linebacking core, safeties, these guys are going to get put to work. We're going to see what they can do to shut them down. But Jared Cook, man, if they can, these Eagles, if the Eagles secondary could shut down these wide receivers, you're going to have Jared Cook to watch out for. So we've had our struggles, but we've also shut down some of the top tight ends. So hey, man, if Jonathan Gannon comes out with the right game plan, we could definitely stop them. So we'll see what we do. But now this offensive line, we all know it predicates off of getting pressure. Can the Eagles get pressure? Rashawn Slater, holy shit, what a pick that was for them. He is a beast. Jonah Jackson, Corey Linsley, Michael Schofield, and Storm Norton. What a football name that is, dude. Not Stormy Daniels, Storm Norton. So they've got themselves a pretty decent offensive line here, ladies and gentlemen. Bulaga on the IR, unfortunately, but they've still got a pretty damn good team here. So I think that, you need to see more Sweat getting some action on Storm Norton, whoever's going it, whether it's Sweat, Barnett, maybe Gennard Avery, Patrick Johnson line up against Rashawn Slater. They're going to have a tough task, but you saw what Josh Sweat did last week. Was very excited. We talk about that matchup with Penei Sewell, and look what he went out and did. Damn proud of that young man. So want to see more of that. Attack this offensive line. It's going to be a tough matchup, though, for this defense. So we're going to see how much they've learned here in week 9. Now, on to the defense. Let's take a look at their stats first before we get into the roster here. They are 32nd against the rush. We've talked about that this week. And look, we got to be able to run that ball. I can't stress it enough. I mean, and you found great success when you ran the ball. So run the ball again, please, for the love of God. And, they are 5th against the pass because a lot of teams are running the ball against them. But, once again, take all this with a grain of salt. I just think that, you need to be able to pound that rock, not be one-dimensional, and you got to take a lot off of Jalen Hurts' shoulders. So they're 18th in total yardage, 24th points given up. That's not good. We should be able to put up some points. So if they are attacking our offense and getting some points, we should be able to match that. We should be able to beat the Los Angeles Chargers. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we should. Now, they are giving up 2 sacks per game, or they're getting 2 sacks per game. I apologize. This is the defense. Whoops. So 2 sacks per game, that's 24th. They are at where we used to be. Got to get more, right? We had 6 last week. Love it. So we got to keep improving. These guys, they got Bosa, and I know he hasn't really been having the greatest of years, but man, they could. They've got a good line. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Now they are getting 0.9 interceptions per game, 0.6 fumble recoveries per game, 1.5 turnovers per game, which is 10th in the league. So they're getting some turnovers, forcing some turnovers, and we know that we can definitely turn the ball over. So got to watch for that. We were doing pretty good at the beginning of the year, but last couple of weeks, some dumb turnovers. Don't want to see it. So let's get into what this defense looks like. We'll start. This is a 3-4 defense. So we're going to be looking at the defensive line first, and then the outside linebackers / defensive ends, your edge rushers. So defensive line first, we're looking at the inside here. Jerry Tillery, Linval Joseph, Justin Jones. Got themselves some big boys in there, and they can definitely wreak some havoc. Once again, like I said, the stats a little skewed maybe. I know they're giving up a lot in the run game, which is weird with them, but I think, with some of these guys getting up there in age, I mean, you could definitely still attack with the run. I mean, you have to attack with the run game. So looking at the middle, though, maybe you have to run outside a little more, but let's look at who's outside there. Obviously, you've got Joey Bosa out there. You got to watch out for that. And then Uchenna Nwosu, Kyle Fackrell will come in as well, and Chris Rumpf will get a couple snaps, but they've got themselves some edge rushers here. And I think these guys, it's a decent defensive line, and you just got to watch out. But I'm very, very happy that Lane Johnson and Mailata are back, but everybody's, on the injury report now. But everybody should be able to go except Jack Driscoll. I'm a little questionable about. So we'll see if Jack Driscoll is ready to go. But other than that, it's going to be a tough task regardless. I don't care what the stats say, but we dominate when we run. These are some big boys we got up front. You keep pounding that rock. I don't give a damn who this defensive line is. We can run that ball, run that ball. Now let's look at their inside linebackers. We just talked about Kenneth Murray, getting activated, that 21-day window. So he's not necessarily going to be back this week. Let's hope not. I hope he's healthy. I don't ever want to see anybody hurt, but oh my God, he's so good. I really don't want to see that. So Kazir White, Drew Tranquil, they are not Kenneth Murray, Nick Neiman, nor Amen Ogbengamega. Sure, Ogbengamega. And then you see at the bottom there, Murray and Lloyd on IR. But they've got themselves, a big hole without Kenneth Murray. So hopefully we can run that ball, pound it, get those linemen, get to the second level, get past these linebackers. I think we could have a huge day again running the ball. Got to stress that every damn week. I don't care until the day I die. Run the ball. Run the ball. Now let's take a gander at the secondary first. We'll take a look at the corners here. We talked about Asante Samuel Jr., dude. Hey, that will be a major loss if he's still dealing with that concussion. He has looked phenomenal for a rookie, but they've got Old Man River, Chris Harris Jr., staying in the AFC West and holding it down, dude. He's still doing pretty decent. Think he may give Devontae Smith a very rough time. Devontae, he does get open at times. I know he's had a couple drops. I just think he and Jalen Hurts, man, they really need to get on the same page. Hurts working on his progression. We all know he needs work. I don't know why there's confusion about that. We know that. Still very hopeful for him, but they got to get that connection going. It's going to be a tough task against these guys, but we'll see if Asante's out. That's going to be great. That'll be great news for Quez Watkins. We'll see if we have a big day from Quez with Jalen Reagor out, but hey, we shall find out. Now, the safeties, oh my, they have got themselves a damn good safety tandem. Derwin James, one of my favorite non-Eagles to watch in this league. Man, do I wish Eagles could have got him. He is damn good. And then you got Nasir Adderley, who is also, and he's very underrated in this league. I think he is really good. So we're going to have our hands full with the safeties. We'll see how Jalen Hurts attacked him, but I'd like to see some of the deep ball. But you got to watch out, man. And Derwin James, he can kill you from anywhere, man. This dude is versatile as hell. So you don't know if he's blitzing and coverage, whatever he's doing, but this dude can do it all. So Eagles got a tough task ahead with that safety room. A decent defense, a decent offense. So we're going to have our hands full, but let's not leave out the special teams here before we get done. So we'll look at the kicker, Dustin Hopkins. We all remember him from Washington. Then you got Ty Long at punter and Matt Overton at long snapper. Then when it comes to the return game, they've got one guy as kick returner and punt returner, Andre Roberts, that we mentioned in the return wide receivers we were talking about. And then sometimes you'll see Jalen Guyton, Nasir Adderley, or Larry Roundtree getting a return or two. So we'll see how they use these guys, but going to be intriguing matchup come Sunday. I can't wait to keep talking about it this week. We're going to get into the roster comparison, the matchup advantages, and then we'll do the top 10 matchups. So keep tuning in throughout the week. We're going to break down this matchup. We're going to get into the score prediction, everything at the end of the week. So, dude, we just got to keep building. It's really, like I said, at the beginning of the season, it's not about wins and losses. It's about growth, right? And even if we lose, as long as we're fighting, as long as we're growing and we're adjusting in game, I'll be okay with that. I hate losing, but I can just tell myself, okay, the draft pick's better, right? So we're focusing on that. But I appreciate you guys taking the time. But that was Behind Enemy Lines with the LA Chargers. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys taking the time. Appreciate you guys following me on all these platforms. You can always reach out to me if you need anything. Appreciate you hitting that like button, subscribing. And you guys know I always say that, reach out if you need anything, but whether it's about Eagles, life, doesn't matter. I appreciate all of you guys and always want to try to be here for you as much as you are for me. So appreciate you guys. If you're watching this later, you can always comment. I will always get back to you when I see it. But I hope you're all having yourself a great night. Let's get that win, Sixers. Take care. If you need anything, seriously, let me know. We always can use a friend. So if you guys need one, always here for you. Have yourselves a great night. And as always, go Birds!